Dear Venerable Sisters, Dhamma friends, today too we are going to start the question and answer session. So we'll invite Ananda to start with the written question. Please.
Ayubowan, mendicants, and my commercial pitch today is about the way that we greet. I met two people on the very first day. One gave the hand, other one went to Anjali. So I think we Sri Lankans are have this very nice method of greeting each other with Anjali. This way. And it has many benefits. It's very healthy. It makes you happy. It's very hygienic. All with H. So you can think of so many things. And it makes you humble. And when you when you are humble, the hiri, the moral shame or the prudence really gets going. So I just thought I will share that with you. As this is the last day, so I must share something with you. And okay. And now, two questions. Last minute there were some questions, so hence my delay to get into the hall. And like always, the mendicants have the right of way. I have a very long request, or it's a report, really in true sense. I shall read it now.
Yeah.
Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, my posture is sitting. My primary object of meditation is mindfulness of the present moment. This is from Venerable Ajita. I am reporting one sitting session in the morning from 4 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., which was preceded with 45 minutes of walking meditation. The mind was already alert and quiet when I sat. The first prominent object observed was in-breath and out-breath, both short, followed by a long stop in between the in and out breath as well as the out and in breath. It went only for a cycle. It went only for 2 cycles: in breath, stop, out breath, stop, in breath, stop, out breath. Then it stopped and no breath can be observed. What came up next was a soft, smooth, cool breeze of wind whirling on my right side of the abdomen. It whirled slowly in elliptical motion from small diameter to larger. Soon it began to disperse. In the background of this whirling motion, the bouncing bell started, bouncing fast but at a small height, then increased to a taller height from the bottom of my belly to my head, but at a slower speed. The bouncing was soft, not as clear as the previous experience I had. By this time, the posture is not as clear as the previous experience I had. I repeated that. By this time, the posture is lost. I just felt light, like I was in an eggshell of cool wind. The space also grew brighter and brighter, sort of blue-greenish white light. Suddenly, what seemed to be an oval dark mirror appeared. Everything went quiet. Just that dark oval mirror approaching closer and closer. I felt like I was falling into a well, and fear arose within 1 second. Then I remembered you said not to be afraid. So I started telling myself, no fear, no fear. But it was too late. What was the dark oval mirror shrank in size and went dead. I think it is a question. What was the dark oval mirror shrank in size and went dead? Sort of becoming flat, 2-dimensional with no depth anymore. Then the cool breeze of wind moving in elliptical motion together with the soft bouncing ball appeared again. Sometimes small in diameter, sometimes long, but always softly, not coarse. The same with the bouncing, sometimes short in height, sometimes taller, but always softly and medium in speed. This phenomena is sometimes interrupted by what I felt like sleepiness coming from the top right corner of my eye. If I can catch it, I didn't nod off. But if I was late, I would nod off. Sometimes, as I was nodding off, I was able to observe my posture changing, my body moving to the left side or the head moving forward. What was strange was when I tried to correct the posture consciously to the erect upright position, it went down again like reflex. It stayed like that for a while and I just observed my awkward posture. When it's ready, it went up gradually like someone was cranking the car with the jack. At times, I was still unable to observe the transition and got knocked off unawares. Other times, it seemed like I was aware, but actually I wasn't. I only knew it after I was woken up by a dash sound. Only then I knew that just now I wasn't being mindful. My questions are, 1, although before you have advised me to go prepared and offer my life to the Buddha, I have always chanted every morning Ajahn Chah's mantra, Buddham, Dhammam, Sangham, Me Jivitam, Yava Nibbanam, Saranam Gacchami. She gives the English meaning. To the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, I go for refuge, giving my life to realize Nibbana. For 3 years now, it didn't seem to work to counter the fear. Why? Is there some other way to be fearless? 2, I don't quite get the benefit of understanding who am I. The following usually happen during walking meditation. Next part is on walking meditation, Bhante. So I think...
So, but anyway, on the way, therefore, don't expect big thing to happen. Your preparedness is already expressed in the essay. Still the fear comes. Still the uncertainty comes. You are on the way. So, be patient. Continue. It's a very difficult and very complicated thing. Now you are slowly penetrating. So, the way you explain is very nice and it's good for others also. You have so much of detail while it is recording. Sometimes under control, sometimes beyond control. So it's a very good sign because it is not an imagination. It's a reality. So have the same mantra, have the same preparation, have the same kind of a beginning of the session. Continue to do it like that and it will send you to the safe haven.
I can see the same thought pattern the mind likes to latch on like an old broken record. This particular memory for sadness, another for guilt, yet another one for anger. That particular thought in the future for anxiety, another one for fear, etc. None, I may say, are positive. All negative in nature, appearing one after another like a domino effect to the self exist. Like a domino effect, so the self exists. When it comes back to mindfully walking, I can feel the huge relief, yet it picks up again the same pattern of thoughts either after 5 to 6 steps or at the end of the walking path when I was standing getting ready to turn. So even when I can see the pattern, I can't stop it from happening. And I still got affected from time to time, I must say most of the time. Is there a skillful, useful way of changing this perception? Obviously, I haven't suffered enough, otherwise I would have let go. I must read that again. Obviously, I haven't suffered enough, otherwise I would have let go. Maha Anumodana Bhante, I rarely have the opportunity to ask such questions. Katanya Katavedi, Venerable Ajita.
Yeah, that earlier the essay ending telling I can't understand the personality trait, this is a very clear indication. I am a kind of a person thinking, not distracted by sound, not distracted by pain, not with the primary object, but the pain, but the thinking. And that is also sometimes past, sometimes future. All the kind of things are bad. But as mentioned, you have not enough suffered, that is why still it is going there, but still you know, you are not with pain, you are not with sound, but with thought, is a trait. And mindfulness indicates whether you see negative thing or positive thing, seeing is equal. You see a good thoughts or bad thought, but the mindfulness is mindfulness. So don't underestimate that mindfulness is only observe negative thing. Thing may be negative or positive, but you are mindful. So the day you appreciate this is the way I understand who am I. And this is the way I understand not to get taken for a ride by good and bad. We are progressive. So go with that preparedness. Very good.
Next is also from Mendicant. Venerable Sir, the Bhikkhuni, posture is sitting. Primary object, Anapanasati, in and out breathing. Sensation felt in the nostril. My question, after obtaining the first jhana, does one automatically go down to second jhana, third and fourth? Thank you, Vetmetta.
So if you have such a determination, it will go. Otherwise, you have to see the consequences on the disadvantage of the first jhana, and then you have to meditate on the primary object and make it very bright, and then go into the second jhana. And see the beginning, it is advantageous. Towards the end, it is disadvantageous. After seeing the disadvantage, you have to come out on the jhana, and again you have to do meditation, and then go to the third. That's the way it is happening. But if you are determined, after so much of mastering, let my mind jump from the one to the other by 5 minutes. If your concentration is good, that will work. So that is a conscious decision.
Dear Venerable Sir, my posture is sitting. The primary object is an attitude of acceptance. In a good session, I have a nice time with my breath, with a lot of silence and thoughts that have become like an extremely quiet whisper. After such a session, if someone speaks to me, it is usually unpleasant and takes some active effort in my part to respond. The background to my question is an interest that arose during your talks, etc., where you mention the boredom that occurs with the object. I tend not to focus here, and so it was interesting to notice its presence. My question is, can you please talk more about this, and please give a few more specific details about how you have gradually moved towards reducing or overcoming this? Thank you kindly, with metta, gratitude and respect.
Still you are talking, not you are whispering. So to the people in the outside, I don't know whether everyone can listen.
Can hear?
Yes,
Back?
of course now, but when you are reading,
okay, I will.
So there should have some kind of a support to hold your mic, so that you can make use the time for and the attention. So anyway, the question, as I understood, is that boredom sets in, but still I am inefficient to understand it. So this is the way it happens. Don't try to be smart. So the way it is happening like a magic. So it appears like a camouflage. So if you can go prepared, that is your contribution. That's what you can do. So go whenever the meditation comes into the proper maturity, the monotony sets in, boredom happens, you feel like cornered, so not that all the time for all the people. So go, continue with that, and that boldness to go, even with such boldness and go preparedness, is what you call the personality we have. So keep on practicing, but don't try to be smart, because it is very tricky, or perversion in our mind. So let the mind to go by its own pace, rather than consciously get involved, is well enough.
Dear Bhante, my posture is sitting. My primary object is breath. At a good session, this morning I experienced the space, not for the first time in life, but first time in this retreat. The energy flow from nose to other parts, such as ears, eyes and feet, showed the space within the body. The difference today was, I realized how large space in the body compared to the matter. Therefore, pain that bothered me in legs could be seen as in space. This was a huge change in my perception that led me to withstand most pains easily. Yet, finally had to give way to a large pain. The following walking and sitting sessions were also better with deeper concentration. I do not have a question, but would like to have your comments. Thank you for your precious teachings.
Theoretically it says Gana Vinibhoga, so you see as a very coherent bullet-like thing, and when you are meditating, these ions and separate particles and thing going to disperse as if like a bursting of a balloon like. And there the thing is there, but it is not very coherent and very solid. When it is dispersed within the space, your perception completely change into. But we are not happy to see like that. But that is how it happens. So imagine a beehive, and when the day sunlight happens, bees are going out. So they are rotating in a limited space, so you feel like you lost bees. But they are not lost. They have gone for their duty and they will come back. So likewise, each and everything in the earth, when you zoom in and zoom out, they are nothing but atoms. They are nothing but subatomic particles. So you see a male, female, hand, leg and kind of thing, but the day the mindfulness is making the distance less from the object of the mind, everything just like nothing but atom. And there you lose the perception, self-perception, conceit and the desire. So that's why it has to happen slowly, slowly. You go close and come back. Zoom in and zoom out. Zoom in and zoom out. At that level, it develops the notion of the man, male, female, good, bad, big, small life. When it is broken into atoms, they are just atoms. So that is not happening in the colloidal laboratory. It is happening when you are concentrated. With mindfulness, everything can be spreading like that. So again they come into a conglomeration. And again dismantle. So whenever happening again and again, you see that your perception only decide whether it's a unit or it's an agglomeration. Agglomeration is the term for kaya. Kaya means a mountain, agglomeration. If you take it as a one person, male, female, then the storytelling happens. But everyone is, in a sense, just subatomic particles. So let that happen again and again. See how quickly, how drastically, how dramatically your perception is changing. Yourself is being threatened. If you put the sum total and take it as one unit, separate story. If you disperse them, separate story. So this is a very good example and very difficult to communicate, but this is a good way of presenting. Please continue.
Dear Venerable Bhante, my posture is sitting meditation. Applying sati to just being, whilst being aware of the body, that I am living and not dead. Mind goes into emptiness and I can remain in that emptiness for a while. Then I bring to the mind a Dhamma fact such as etang santang etang panitang, so on. Now I know, after listening to your Dhamma talk today, that I should not do this, but remain in emptiness. My question is, how do I know what I am not? How do I know that I am not fantasizing this emptiness? I feel alone, but feel a sense of freedom and peace. Please advise with many blessings with metta.
So when a young child is learning to get up and walk, so always using a rail or mother's hand. So after a while, the baby learning how to totter and going there, sometimes you have to give a helping hand, but later you find not necessary, otherwise child will not learn. Likewise, once in a way you have to say etam tantang etam panidai yadam upeka, it's like giving a helping hand. Whenever the mind learns how to maintain the balance, you keep out of that. And again the child will fall, but nothing to worry. When a child falls, never get sick like a elderly person. If he falls, අන්තභාගයට මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? Yeah, stroke and paralyzed and finished. But the babies are falling, no problem. That's the difference between the Nakis and the younger people. So let the baby to fall down, no problem. So there you must understand when to withdraw your help to the child. It is not out of compassion. It is the way you are helping. So this is the thing I say. It is not a science, it's an art. Do it again and again by trial and error. Slowly, slowly you will learn, and you are on the way anyway. And good way of expressing. So therefore, soon you will be happy and ready for the next event.
Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, I would first like to thank you and the facilitators at Jhana Grove Retreat and my fellow yogis for a wonderful experience at my first Vipassana retreat. Initially, during my first attempts at meditation, it was the usual saw this and saw that. I think sorry. My thoughts jumping around like a hungry flea. Yesterday was different. I experienced visual rippling of fabric and water, so smoothing before entering a deep meditative state. Of total darkness, no sound, not even my own breath. My afternoon meditations saw me holding a slack of uneven balls, teetering in all directions, finally crashing to the ground, which shocked me out of meditation. Naturally, not all my meditations are successful, all dependent on outside and internal factors. Thank you for this incredible experience. It has brought me peace. Respectfully, it's a good run.
So this is what we call the impermanent nature. It is in the shape, impermanence. In the manner, is impermanent. Different objects, impermanence. So once you start the glimpse of impermanence, you find everything is suggesting all the time, what the hell I did not see so far. That is what the impermanence is, such a obvious thing. But there should have a kind of a systematic approach, then only you understand, oh, this is what we call impermanence. So therefore you are now exposing to the big array, everything appear like that. And if you go prepared, you appear like advancing. Otherwise you feel like it is nihilistic, it is destructive, everything is dispersing. Just like a radar, or just like a ray going and dispersing light. So therefore, slowly, slowly, you will understand the impermanence is from morning to evening we fail to see because of our permanent notion. And it is slowly, slowly reduced, impermanence will come into being.
Dear Bhante, my posture is sitting and walking meditation, and also daily actions. I start with rising and falling, and then automatically I feel it has moved to Anapanasati. I observe the end of the exhale breath and mindful of the gap, and then the inhale breath, and have been following the Maha method and incorporate the metta in my daily blessings and in dealing with people and situations. But recently I have been feeling a bit of disenchantment with life, but I am not already depressed. I'm not clearly depressed. There is nothing else.
That is why the depression with fear and the hatred and depression also can happen, or disenchantment. There are no fear, no hatred. So that change, the Western psychology never understand. They everything consider as the depression if it is something negative. No. The depression is a representation of disenchantment and dispassion. But the secret is, it is not backed by hatred or fear. So this is healthy change is what we do through mindfulness and this Patipada.
Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, my primary object is a thought like it is forgiven. I say it to myself when I feel frustrated at myself. When I note this, my mind, at times, not always, relaxes, the body relaxed, and for some time the mind feels rested. However, there is no bright, alert and sharpness in the mind. My question is, how can I introduce vipassana to this practice that allows me to stop swinging from one end to the other of the seesaw? Come more to the center. Question mark. How to come more to the center with metta, Venerable Upeka.
So that this is starting with the mind object, that's an immaterial thing, and still you can further, you can advance, you can go there. But the day you get a material object like tangible, verifiable, then the progress is very lenient and gradual. Mind object is good, but there is no verifiable thing. It may be it's a concept or reality. But if you, with the help of this meditation and certain amount of mindfulness, if you can start with your body, if you can start with your breath body, if you can start with your rising and falling, it is we call materiality. That materiality is going to give a sound base for the meditation than mental objects. So that is why the Buddha is always asking Kaya Anupassana, the corporeality. So whenever you feel healthy and energized, just start again like a beginner with a material object or corporeality, and then let that to be given at the datum line or the baseline, and then you will be advancing in a steady way than in a immaterial thing.
Dear Venerable Bhante, this is not a question, but to provide some additional information to last night's question on present moment awareness and silent present moment awareness. There is a book titled Basic Method of Meditation that exactly describes these two terms. You could obtain a copy perhaps from Christina, the caretaker at Jhana Grove, or from the BSWA library in Nolamara. I think this same information is also available in the Jhana Grove website with Metta.
So it's a book from here?
Book from here. I think Ajahn Brahm. Right? Ajahn Brahm's. Good. It's a book. I also know about this book. This book is written by Ajahn Brahm. I think copies are available. That's all the questions. Before I give the opportunity, may I please ask something that Ajahn Nirodha brought to our attention just while I was reading the question. Ajahn Nirodha came and said that these are very valuable, priceless discussions, and whether it is possible to get this into written form. And Udaya, who is doing the recording, was there at that time. So we had a bit of a discussion. Then Ajahn Nirodha specifically asked me to ask for your permission, even if we find a way to do it. Would that be in order, Bhante?
Yeah, no problem. That we can put it that if I have done any mistake, that 50% I give to the audience. If I am misleading, that is because of you. So I take 50%, sorry. Never mind, that 50% I don't mind. But I will say that I am a very innocent person, they are the people, they are misleading me. So I will write this as my preface to the book.
Thank you, Bhante. And so today we have finished fairly early, and also we have to finish by 9:20 because Bhante has a Skyping session, I understand. Is that right? 9:20? Yeah. And are there any questions from the audience? I could see 2 hands went up.
Bhante, it's my question. I think Ananda knows my question about disenchantment. So, do I continue with the same practice, being mindful throughout the day? And when I feel disenchantment, should I just be very mindful of the fact of being disenchantment? Shall I continue like that?
So when the disenchantment happened without the fear, without the hatred...
Yeah, I have no fear, no
I also lost, so you have nothing to do. You have no choice. Still, if you are going to fork your fingers, that is not the proper disenchantment. Let it happen. It is happening as a chain reaction of the Dhamma. You have no choice. Just see, this disenchantment happen, you can observe, it's no fear, no negativity, and you have no buttons to accelerate or decelerate. Don't put put yourself to fork fingers.
Yeah.
You have no choice in the short term.
Yeah.
You have a rights like a distance observer.
Yeah.
Observer is, this disenchantment is without fear, without negativity. So you have, don't do further anything. Withdraw yourself rather. Let it happen as a Dhamma parampara or chain action. So your self is dissolving. Self-centeredness dissolving. Egotistic idea or conceit is dissolving. Desire is dissolving. Not only disenchantment. It's also happening. So now your mind, your ego is going to be smart. What shall I do? Can I promote it or can I accelerate? This is the way ego is working. Okay. This is very, very perverted, very, very cheating. So you have to say, shut your mouth up, just wait.
Okay.
You rabbit, just wait.
Okay, all right.
There were a series of films. You rabbit, just wait.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, that question on the jhana, now once it starts fading away, you gradually go down to sukha and then you go down to equanimity. So isn't that a process of going down, Bhante? Instead of coming out and then,
So
going...
best answer I can give is, if you can read Venerable Pandita's book, Vipassana Jhana, you will really get the answer. Otherwise you are mixing up with now. So therefore it's a very good chunk of pages. He dealt this about 30 years ago. No one challenged so far. It's called Vipassana Jhana. So you can easily get up with the Samatha Jhana and then you will work with the mind. But take time and read it, and he's really explained very clearly how it is happening, and better to live with them as Vipassana Jhana, so it is a natural process. Whenever it is going to the Samatha Jhana, self is there, determination is there, willful action is there. So therefore, two different things.
Thank you, Bhante.
When I start meditating and when it goes for some time, I have this problem of the body tilting towards the left. And I try not to interfere as much as possible, but the tendency is to correct my posture. So, is there anything else that I can do?
So you are a leftist, you have to learn capitalistic. Because it's always the left.
I'm a leftist.
See, that is why, so don't be inclined to one side. Never mind. And now the body knowledge come and says, hey bhai, hey koi, you are capitalist, you are leftist. So therefore you come to the center or left capitalistic. So that is the body business. We call that is the body language. Sorry, we call body knowledge. You can just observe. Body also bending and body also come and say, you are imbalanced. So ask the bloody body to make mind on your own business. You just observe. So this is how we learn non-governable and uncontrollable, but still the ego idea, ego-centered thing is coming and saying, no, I can do something. I have the controlling power. So may I do it or not? This is how ego going to come, becoming a smart and interfering into this natural process. Both no harm. If you know, this is the egotistic way. One thing is, when you are meditating, body is inclining. The other part of the mind says, no, it is not that. It must be corrected. So do it correction or don't do it correction, but understand this is the way things are happening. Don't take responsibility. It must be corrected or it must not be corrected. Both the action come under the noble quest. Arya Paryesana, observe. As far as you are living in front of the society, you are really acting. You are posing. And so that is why the tension. Whenever the meditation is losing the grip of your senses, the body collapses. That's why when you are in a sleep, it collapses. When the people naturally die, it's almost like the womb. When you are inside the womb, that's exactly posture. But the funeral parlor, he is not happy to leave it like that in the coffin. He make it very straight and put tie and a few. So this is exactly what you do when you are living also. So we are always posing. We are not living. As far as we are in front of the people, we are living on other sides. And that is the good part of it is, when you are meditating in a group meditation, we know consciously, unconsciously we are in front of people, so therefore it is not nice to just collapse. So it's a kind of a way, Mahasi Sayadaw used it, because our moral sense of moral shame and moral fear is working inside. So therefore you try to correct it. But still you have to understand, whenever the consciousness is going away from the sense sphere, anindriya baddha, the collapsing of your posture is coinciding with. Some people can observe it, some people, for the others, it just happens, call it I fallen asleep like. So this is the way you are training. And third dimension is, you determine not to do anything and still ask body knowledge to mind on its own business. That's called muscle knowledge or body knowledge. And it is inbuilt in each and every cell, not with the brain. So it is sometimes happy with our posture, it is not happy with our posture, but we must leave it aside for the body knowledge to happen. And even in walking meditation, there may be some postural differences when and where you become effortless in walking. You can see while you are walking, you do it like a robot, you go like a puppet. But the moment you start walking effortlessly, body come aligned with the body, alignment with the body knowledge, and it's keep on walking. So these things happen when you are really absorbed in drawing or picture, you are no more. The drawing happens. When you are singing, whenever the audience gets connected, you are no more. You can just Michael Jackson. The connection, once the connection happens, you are not the person talking. The talks happen. Likewise, there is a kind of the Dhamma going to take over, and then the body also work like that, mind also work like that, and beyond that, if you master it, you are plugged into the universal, the conscious library, universal library, the enormous knowledge, and just let it happen. If you are believing your limited knowledge, you will never get plugged with the cosmic library. Your abilities will never come out. So abilities come before early sign is you lose abilities, you lose control. And then it's come into a sphere where Dhamma is working, and you are going to understand what a kind of potential in a human being. So you are with the early signs, keep on practice. If you wish, you can correct your body. If you wish, you can let it happen. And see, the body has its own body knowledge or muscle knowledge. Let that happen, and you understand it's non-governable, uncontrollable. And more you season it, there's a kind of a natural balance going to happen. You may continue the same without preconceived ideas. Let the body to decide what is happening.
One other question is that when the breath gets very, very subtle, like you said, I'm trying to see that subtleness still keeping the focus on the breath. But when I try to see that, then the gross breath starts happening again. So it goes like that as a cycle. So I cannot see the subtle breath. Is there a way to correct that?
So can you witness day by day you are somehow or the other go to the subtle breath? May not be according to your speed, your desirable level, but earlier you were not familiar with the subtle breath, now you are familiar. Now you wanted to go there, as far as you have that effort, you will never go to the subtle breath. Now to happen this cycle again, gross, it becomes gross, again subtle, again become gross, again becomes subtle. You will understand the becoming subtle and gross is not due to your action, that's Paticcasamuppada. It's a cause and effect relationship. Whenever something becomes subtle, it becomes gross. Whenever something becomes gross, it becomes subtle. So we have a desire, subtle is better than gross. I don't know, I guess it like that. As far as that desire is there, Paticcasamuppada is not 100%. Because of the forking fingers and the influence or interference. So one day you will understand, let that thing happen, and you get a distance observers stated, and it will happen. And there are no boundaries, no limits. Sometimes go to very unwanted grossness, unwanted, unexpected kind of subtleness, because they are always there. So you have to let that happen in natural order, rather than your desire to see the subtleness or grossness. That is the way ego come and play, appear like a opinion giver. It's utter destructive. That is utter cheating. It's utter perversion. So you have to go prepared. Fellow come and try to be smart. He says, please go and take a seat in the back row. Just let that happen. So that is the point. You must know how to not to do something.
It disguises as a Dhamma knowledge sometimes. Yeah.
No, anything can disturb you. Dhamma is happening something, so you have to let that happen in its own accord. Then the full-fledged Dhamma is happening. As far as you put theoretical knowledge, or as far as you try to adjust it or tune it or try to be smart, that is the only blockage. So towards the end of the meditation, you must learn the art, how just be, not to do something. So one person is writing, when you go and ask the young children that, did you practice mindfulness at home? They say no. So that means they are not happy not to do something. Whenever you do something, you are not mindful. Whenever mindful, things are happening. So we are so unhappy, things to happen by its own accord. And things happening in its own accord is called Taoism. That's a parallel kind of a spiritual practice. It was in China during the contemporary time of Buddha. So therefore they were very absorbent. They can understand what the Buddha is telling. As far as you do something, ego is taking the upper hand. Ego is coming and give free opinions. But it has its own secret agenda. So you have to understand, whenever time permits, not at the early period, whenever time permits, let that effortless things to happen, withdraw yourself as much as possible. That is called Tadupaka Viryavahanattena. As the meditation grow, higher level, don't put forth effort. Just let it happen. When the child is walking by itself, don't help. Let the child to fall down and get up and walk. But the mothers, they don't know. They always go and check up. Though their backbone never happens. The present day children, they don't have backbone because of the mother. This is no, child must not fall. So giving this kind of thing, and they don't know how to fall and get up. it is none of our business. We leave it to the ladies, because males are not much get involved in racing. But when we were young, even we break our neck, no one knows. There's no, my mother has 11 children. Morning, tied together, elder brothers, one couple, next sisters, then myself and my brother, and 2 younger sisters. Only when they go up, they keep noting, and when they come back, take by couples, that's it. They have no chance to see whether you come with all the 4 limbs or not. At the present day, each and every mother has only one child, and morning to evening, never allow child to do anything. With this, it is germs. So don't touch a knife. Don't look at fire. Don't touch a polythene bag. Which is, no, it is not for children. So what will happen? So likewise, when the meditation happens, you must know. You must know when to give its own accord and not to do something. Very difficult to teach it, because you are always trying to be doing. So therefore, one author wrote that nowadays there is no human beings, all are human doings. No one knows how to be human being. No one knows how to let it go in the nature. We are human doing it become. It's a crime is we make children also like that. So it's an example. I am not telling about that. But the meditation also, whenever meditation is ready to go, just let it happen. Subtle it become, gross it become. And it is not due to your involvement maybe, and it is the cause and effect relationship. When you are observing at a distance level, it will show the pattern without interference.
ඒ ප්‍රශ්නෙටම මගේ අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමක් එකතු කරන්න අවසරද? ඔය ප්‍රශ්නෙම මටත් දාව ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ. ඇත්තටම මේ වෙලාවේ මමත් උක මේ පිටපැත්තෙන් ඇල එනකොට හිතින් ඇල කර කර හිටියා. ඉතින් ඊට පස්සේ දැන් මේ යන ක්‍රමයට මම ඔය අහපු දේවල් හිටිට කොහොම හරි මම ඔක වෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා හොරෙන් බලාගෙන ඉන්න පුරුදු වුණා. බොඩි එක දිහා බොඩි එක මොකද කරන්නේ? එයාට යන්න පුළුවන් දුරක් යන්න ඇරලා යාපො එනවද කියලා. එතකොට එක අවස්ථාවක මම තේරුම් ගත්ත එක දවසක් වුණා. එහෙම ගිහිල්ලා එක මම බලාගෙන ඉන්න විතර ගැස්සිලා එකපාරට කිලින් එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ බොඩි එක එයාම ගන්නවා. එතකොට මට පතක් වුණා එකපාරට අපි පොඩි කාලේ බස් වල යනකොට නිින්ද ගියා පොඩි කාලේ ලොකු කාලේ බස් වල යනකොට නිින්ද යනවා. එකපාරට කෙලින් එන්නේ. ඒතකොට ඒක සිද්ධිය මෙතනදී වෙනවා. හැබැයි බලාගෙන අපි දැනුවත්. ඒතකොට ඒ වේ ඉක්වල් කරා. ඊට අමතරව ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ ඊයේ බණේදී කිව්වා, බඩක හරි සාකච්ඡාවදී කිව්වා මේ හැම ශරීරේ හැමතැනම ශෛල වර්ගයක් තියෙනවා කියලා හැම ශෛලයකම. ඒතකොට මට ඒක ඊයේ වැටුණා මේකත් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා ඇති. ඒ වායේ ක්‍රියාත්මක වීමත් එක්ක මේ බොඩි එක හදනවා ඇති කියන එක. ඊටත් අමතරව ඊයේ මම පරයන්කට ඉඳගානෙද්දී ඒ වෙලාවේ මම හිතුවා හරි ඔයා එනකොට මම ඔයා පොඩි කෙනෙක් වගේ බලන්න. හැබැයි ඔයාට ඕන විදියට යන්න මම ඔයාට මොකවත් කරන්නේ නැහැ. වේදනාවක් આવොත් ඒක ඔයාම දරා ගන්න. ඒ පදරමේ ගියා. එහෙම ඒ තත්ත්වය යනකොට මට ටිකක් සාර්ථකත්වයක් හම්බුණා. අන්නේ අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ කිරීම අවශ්‍යනේ ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ.
ඒක අපිට කෘෂිකර්මදී උගන්වනවා ඉස්සර වැසියක් වදනකොට පැටව දානකොට අපි ගිහලා වින්න බොගම් කරනවානේ. කියන්නේ පැටිය ළඟට ගිහලා අත ගාලා රීමේ කරනවා. ඉතින් පස්සේ දැක්කා ඒ වෙනුවට හොඳයි වැසිට හොඳට විලිලන්න ඇරලා ටීවී කැමරාවකදී බලයිනු. මොකක්වත්ම හෙල්ප් එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. එයා ඔක්කොම ටික කරගන්න. ඒකට එක සැරේ වැසියෝ 5 දෙනෙක් වදනවා. ඒ පාලට තියෙන වීඩියෝ කැමරාවක බලන එක අවශ්‍යතාවයක් වුණොත් ගිහිල්ලා අත දාන්න ඕනේ. මොකද ඒක නැචරල් ප්‍රොසෙස් එකක්. ඔය වින්නපුවම රින්ගන බව හැබැයි මේ වෙලාවට. දොස්තරලා ගත්තා ඕක ඊට පස්සේ දොස්තරලා ගයිනකොලොජිස්ට්ලා වුණා. ඒක කරපු විශාල කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් පස්සේ ජෝර්ජ් රජුරෝ ඒකට තියෙන මේ ඩ්‍රාමා එකක් මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ කබඩ් මොකක්ද කියලා වන්නේ බැලුවත් ඒක. මේ ගෑනුන්ට වදනකොට පිරිමි ගිහලා බලන් ඉන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඕනේ. ඔය නිග්‍රෝධ සාමරේට හම්බෙනකොට මේ අම්මා බඩදරු එතකොට ගිහිල්ලා මේ නුග ගහක් යට වැදුවා. මොකක්වත් නැහැ. දැන් ඉතින් බබෙක් හම්බෙන්න නම් කොල්ලෙක් නම් රෝස පාට තියෙන්න ඕන, කෙල්ලෙක් නම් නිල් පාට තියෙන්න ඕන, සබම් මෙච්චර තියෙන්න ඕන, ගෝස් මෙච්චර තියෙන්න ඕන. අම්මා මෙහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ. බයිලානේ. මං දැක්ක රිලෙවියක් වදනවා ගහක් උඩ. මටත් ඕන නැතිකම ඔබ බලන්න හොඳ නැහැ කියලා තියෙන්නේ. මං ගිහලා බලන්නේ රිලෙවි බැන්න හොඳ ගුණ අරව දෙකක් කියලා මං ආපහු ගියා. ඊ ගාලා බැලුවා මොකද? පස්සේ ගිහලා කාමරේ ඉඳගෙන ජනේලෙ ඇසෙන් බලා හිටියා. අනේ මොන්නම වින්නපු කමක්වත් නැහැ. ටික වේලාවක් ගියා පැටිය ගත්ත බොක්කේ තියාගත්ත අර පැටිය නාවල හරි ගසගත්තා. කැමරට ගියා. අද වෛද්‍ය ශාස්ත්‍රීය සීරම අතට අරගෙන මොන කුණු හරිපැද්ද කරන්නේ. ඉස්සර විලිලන්න තිබුණේ තිඹිරිගේ. විලිලනුවක් තිබ්බා. ඒකේ එල්ලීලා වදනවා. දැන් බුදු අම්මේ අපේ පොඩි අක්කට ළමයි හම්බෙන්න ගියාම ඒකෙත් දන්නේ නැහැ. බස් එකේ ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන මොරිස් බස් එක. ඒ ඔෆිස් එකේදී බබා හම්බෙනකොට ගිහිල්ලා වැදුවා. අපි කොල්ලට මොරිස් කියලා නම දැම්මා. ඉතින් බස් එකේ යනකම් දන්නේ නැහැ මේ ළමයා හම්බෙන්න යනවා. මොරිස් කියලා නම දැම්මා. බස් එකේ නම දැම්මා. මේ එච්චරයි. ඔය ඉස්සර කාලේ තිබුණේ ඔක්කොම දේවල් දැන් මේ ආයතනීකරණය කරලා මේ පුදුමාකාර බයක් ඇති කරන. ඉතින් තිරසනුට කවදාවත් කැන්සර් නැහැ. තිරසනුට කවදාවත් ටෙන්ෂන් නැහැ. මොකද කවුරක්වත් නැහැනේ මේ ඇසිස් කරන්නේ. අයියෝ මේ ඇසිස්ටන්ට්ලා නිසා වෙලා තියෙන වැඩේ බැලුවොත් එහෙම මහානකම දිහා බලන්නකෝ. ප්‍රේනසි කියුමේ කැලේට ඵලයන් ඔබ බැරි වෙලා හරි වැලක් කියලා හිතලා හර්පෙප් පැගොතු කාලා මැරෙයි එච්චරයි. ඒකයි මහානකමේ තියෙන ජොලිය. දැන් බලපුවාම යන්න ඉස්සලා සිකියුරිටි ලයිසන් අරගෙන හෙල්ත් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් දාලා ඇම්බියුලන්ස් එක නතර කරලා ඔන් ස්ටාර්ට් තියලා ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක් කොන් කෝල්ස් තියාගෙන මේ මහානකම යන්නේ. කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ මේ ස්වභාවය? මං කියන්නේ මම පර්ෆෙක්ට් කියලා මම ගොඩක් යතින් පිරිහිච්ච කෙනෙක්. මොකද මේ බුදුහාමුදුරු දීපු පාර මේ මිනිස්යාගේ ඇඟ ඇතුලේ තියෙන සේරම බේත්. සේරම ටැක්ටික්ස්. මේ එක එකනා බෙදාගෙන ඒකට දොස්තර ඉන්න ඕනේ, මේකට ලෝයර් ඉන්න ඕනේ, මේක බැංක් මැනේජර් ඉන්න ඕනේ, මේකට ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් ඒජන්ට් ඉන්න ඕනේ. තනි බොරුව. කො නැති වෙච්ච වෙලාවට විතරයි සම්පූර්ණ බ්‍රේන් එකේ නියුරොබික්ස් වැඩ කරන්නේ. කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවනම් අපි හැමදාම යාප්පු වෙලා, බැගෑ වෙලා, බයපත් වෙලා අරයට බෑට සැලුට් ගහගෙන ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ එනවා අපිට ඊට පස්සේ මේ නයි පෙන පෙන්නන්න. අපිට කියන්න තියෙන අපි බුද්ධ පුත්‍රයෝ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ කැලියට බැස්සේ මොනවාක්වත් තියාගෙන නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා තිබුණට කමන්නේ පෙර පින්නට එව්ව හම්බ වෙයි. නමුත් මොනවාක්වත් නැති තැන විතරමයි මොලේ වැඩ කරන්නේ. අපි දැන් මොලේ අවුට්සෝස් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි දොස්තරට දෙනවා, මෙයා ලෝයරට දෙනවා, මෙයාට මෙයාට දීපුවාම මේවා නිකම්ම පණ්ඩරලක් විතරයි. වැල් ගැඩවිල්ලෙක් විතරයි, කැරඩියාවක් විතරයි. හැමදේටම කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා කන්සල්ට් කරන්න. මොනම මගුලක්වත් නැහැ. ඔය අපි දන්න පරම්පරා දෙකක් පිටිපස්සට යන්නකෝ. ගාවක් යන්න එපා. ඒ කාලේ මේ මිනිස්සු තමන්ගේ වැඩ ටික කරගත්තා. හැබැයි ඒ කාලේ මේ වගේ භාවනාවක් නම් කරලා නැහැ. අයි දන්නේ නැහැ මම ඒක මොකද කියලා. භාවනාව යනකොට ඒකට දෙන්න විශ්වාසයක් පහළ වෙනවා. දැන් සතිය වැඩේ කරයි ඔබ පැත්තට බලන් හිටපන් කියලා. ඉතින් ඒ විශ්වාසය විතරයි මරනකොට අපිත් එක්ක යන්නේ. ඔය අනිකෝයි කියන ඥානයි ඔය මනෙහි කරන ක්‍රමයි අනමන මොකක්වත් යන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට එනවා ඇතුළත විශ්වාසයක් කොහොම වුණත් මේ බොඩි නොලෙජ් එක තියෙනවා. ධම්මෝ විනානත්ති පිතාච මාතා. මට අම්මෙත් තාත්තෙක් නෑ ධර්මයේ විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒකත් වැඩ ඒ කියන්නේ ක්‍රියාවත් කරපු තරම ඕනයි. රිස්ක් එකක් රන් කරපු තරමට පමණයි. ඒ නිසා අපේ දරුවන්ට දෙන්න තියෙන්නේ රිස්ක් එකක්. පුළුවන් තරම් රිස්ක් එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒකල කියන්නේ ගොඩගනේ. අපි කිව්වොත් එමු නෑ මම බොඩි ගාඩ් කෙනෙක් දෙන්නම්, බැංක් account එකක් දෙන්නම්, කාර් එකක් කරන් දෙන්නම්, අර මේ කියලා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම දරුවන්ගේ ද්වේෂය විතරක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. දරුවන්ට දෙන්න දරුවන්ගේ ජීවිතේ සිද්ධාර්ථ කුමාරයා බුදුරජාණන්සේ කොහොමද රාහුල පැටියට දුන්නේ? ඊළඟව මේකට පැවිදි කරපන් දෙන්න ඕන දේ දෙන්න කියලා බුදුලිල්ලට කියනවා. දැන් අපිට එහෙම කරන්න බෑ මොකද අපි භාවනා කරන්නේ නැති නිසා. ඒ නිසා හුදුවට භාවනා කරන්න එක්කනට තේරෙනවා මේ ධර්මය කියන්නේ ඒක inalienable unalloyed මොනම දෙයක්වත් ඕනේ නැහැ. ඕකට බාර දුන්නාම යනවා. හැබැයි මං කියනවා මුල් වෙලාවේදී අපි පොඩ්ඩක් ජැක් ගහන්න ඕනේ, උදව් කරන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි අපිට තේරෙන්න ඕනේ දැන් ඉතින් හරි. හෙට ආයෙ පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ බින්දුවේ. ආයෙ අතෙන් යනකොට යන්නයි. ඒකවල තියෙන අපි ජීවත් වෙනවා ඒකවල. නැත්තම් හරි මෙයාට සැලුට් ගහගෙන හරි මෙයාට බාල්දු වෙලා හරි මෙයාට මේ බැගෑ වෙලා ජීවත් වෙන ජීවිතයක් තියෙන. ඒක මේ කුණු හරපෙන් උගන්වපු එකක් අපිට. අපේ ස්වභාවයේ පොටෙන්ෂල් එක තාම තියෙනවා. භාවනා කරනකොට අපි ගන්න ඔක්කොම ඇදලා බිමටම අරන් කියනවා මොකක්වත් ඕනේ නැහැ. උඹ ළඟ ඔක්කොම දේවල් තියෙනවා. නිකන් යන්න අරපන් කියලා. මේ බුදුරජාණන්සේ ඔච්චර විශාල සාත්‍රයක් උගන්වන්නද කවදාකවත් බ්ලැක් බෝඩ් එකක් පාවිච්චි කළා නැහැ. රටුණු කැල්ලක් පාවිච්චි කළා නැහැ. මෙහෙම කරයි. ඔච්චර තමයි ටීචින් ටෙක්නික්. පණ්ඩිතයන්සේ කියනවා මොන දෙයක්ද උගන්ලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා බලපන්. කවදාකවත් ලෙක්චර් හෝල් එකට ගිහිල්ලා නැහැ. කවදාකවත් රටුණු කැල්ලක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. කවදාකවත් බ්ලැක් බෝඩ් එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට මේ ඕවේට් ප්‍රොජෙක්ටර්ස් ඕනේ අනම්මනම් ඕනේ සතිපාසල උගන්නන්න. පිස්සු. පටන් ගන්නකොට වඩි අතිපඩ කමන්නේ නැහැ. පස්සේ යනකොට වැල්ලේ කරකිනවා බම්බරේ වුණත් හැබැයි ඒකට අර කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් ඇතුව බහින එක තමයි ඔය දෙතුන් දෙනාව කතා කරන්න හදන්නේ. ඔහොම යන්කෝ මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලන්න.
Bante, this is an extension of the question I asked about a few nights ago about the choiceless awareness and listening to Dhamma talk, that question. This is about some concern I have during my working life. That is because Anapana is appearing most of the times, especially when I'm not interested in anything. So even in the office, in the meetings and so on, when whatever the proceedings are not interesting or quite soon it becomes so, I go into this meditation mode or the choiceless awareness mode. So probably my eyes are getting half closed and people may see me like not really interested in the proceedings. So I know it is a huge thing for the meditative life, but is there any way to sort of concentrate on the proceedings in a forceful way, not always in this choiceless aware manner?
So by becoming alert and by following the procedure, what kind of benefits you expect compared with the present setup?
Because I'm supposed to contribute to the discussion, so I have to listen to what other people are talking. If I'm not interested in their talk, if my attention goes to the breath, then I lose some of that information, so I can't get back to that discussion because I don't know some of the things what was mentioned.
So even if you put the full attention, you can't get all the information. But there's one classic place, Sigmund Freud, in 1918 maybe. He has written when the psychopathic person comes and when he is going to give a counseling, free association, just let the person to talk. You listen just like a deaf. Exactly the Buddha Vachana. And he wrote, when you are a professional counseling, a professional free association, let the other person develop the confidence that I will never divulge what you are going to say. You just talk. And you take a chair and listen like a deaf. And 3 generations found fault with him, telling you are being paid professional, how can you listen like a deaf? But John Muntz, not the John Muntz, I can't remember the person, he met another Zen Buddhist in our contemporary time. And there the master told, the best listening is listening like a deaf. It's a Buddha word. Then he gave an interpretation to what the Sigmund Freud is telling. So I read one book called Physics of the Soul, and Amit Goswami says, when he is having such an insight, Your best listening happen when you are listening like a deaf. The best sight happen when you are looking like the blind person. So that connection is called telepathic. Mind-to-mind connection rather than words and symbols and all the kind of thing. So if you can come to the very calm and quiet mind, the mind knows what to pick. The senses picks the dramatic things. They are picking the signals, pictures and epithets. But when the mind is listening, it's called, when the child is doing some kind of behavior, mother knows by mother knowledge, not by talking. It's called motherly knowledge. So likewise, whenever you are there, it's happening. But I know this is something mystic. But there is a kind of a connection happen. So when I am working with Venerable Jnanarama, he says, when someone is giving his or her interview reports, just listen. In general, don't try to think by word. And when you are listening, the answer will come. And I observed U Pandita Sayadaw, and when you go there, he take a file and translate his writing, and he takes small notes. And then he repeat the question. Is it the question he is asking or he is repeating? One day I took it and see some dots and stars and kind of thing. He just play. You won't believe. He just put the kind of thing, and because sometimes I have to go and record, so I have to put the clip mic here and kind of thing. So he's very seriously he's writing like a name, the age, and it of that. Nothing. So this is how it happens. He says that whenever the mind-to-mind connection happens, it is not through the signs and symbols. So therefore still you maintain your post, no problem. You listen like a drowsy person. No problem. But if you need furtherance of the attention of the people and kind of thing, you have to take care about the alertness. But Sigmund Freud says, listen to, and as a counselor or a free association, like a deaf. And not the John Muns, another Muns. And he's the one who wrote the preface for Venerable Jnanaponika's book, The Heart of Buddhist Meditation. And he says, what the knowledge, what the insight Sigmund Freud would have happened to say, to get the best, you must listen like a deaf. Buddha says, Sotava Badiro Yata. You listen, but don't analyze anything, just listen. And then connection happen. Exactly the thing happen when you are going to give a talk. At the beginning you find no connection and you have to follow the proceedings and the points and kind of thing. Then after a while you get the connection with the people and you are not talking no more. The talk is happening. And then it is very organic, person-to-person connection. So these things, now the people put into the management techniques. No use. But some people, they are born with that characters. So they can have benefit from the management training. So everyone cannot develop such a skill only by training. They are characters born with. So you just continue as it is. And if otherwise, through Pandita Sayadaw says, you can use eye drops. If it is so drowsy, and so he says that you have a very cold eye drops and put once in a way, it is not to listen something but to show people I am very alert. So those are the jokes top people are doing.
Thank you.
On that topic, I just thought I'll just bring in this thing that you told us in the talk, that we have to balance concentration and energy. So the gentleman is going into some kind of concentration, so shouldn't he bring up the energy levels so that then he can listen to the... I mean, he has a job to keep, and if he's going into concentration, then that's not good from his job point of view. So shouldn't he then bring up that energy So if you tell him how to bring up the energy, and it's good for us also, because when we go into concentration, sometimes we tend to fall asleep. So if you can give us some ideas about bringing up that energy within us, then that will be good for him and for us also.
That's my first question. Are you faring good for presently with that kind of drowsiness? If it is so, why should we increase? More energy wasting. Because committee meetings are nonsense. Utter bullshit. What have you to listen? So have you never understood that people are talking nonsense? So why should we alert in that? Have a nice nap. And I mean, you are physically present and drowsy. Very good. Other people will learn because you have to talk something meaningful. If it is meaningful, you know mind is naturally dragged into. Otherwise, when someone is talking nonsense, the drowsiness can happen. It's both the parties are involved there. The person who is talking nonsense and the other person is listening. So under such circumstances, if you are going to stir up your mind and going to think, you are burning the candle from both the ends. Unwanted thing there should have a kind of way to evade. So it's a body knowledge happening. It's a very serious thing. That's a separate issue. So he has already done the job for number of years. Still he is full-fledged. So why should we have furtherance? Don't try to be smart when the meditation is happening. Just let them happen in that way. That is the least amount of burning of fuel, or we call the comfort zone. Fairly good.
But when sometimes, Bhante, when we are meditating and we are in a very equanimous state, even in your talk you said that we had to balance that concentration with energy. Yeah. So how do we do that in meditation?
Meditation, that whenever you have no alertness to the primary object and you feel like you are drowsy, and when you come back still the object is not in view with, that's a sleepiness, sloth and torpor. But there's another way, even though you are not very alert, you naturally come back to the object. If it is so, it is not sleepiness. And one question one day asked from Ajahn Brahm, and he told, when there is no interest outside, my mind is get introvert like a turtle. From the outside people it appears like sleeping. But it's not sleeping. Because the mind, when the disenchantment learn and then dispassion happen, it's happy like the introvert. So whenever such a thing happen, if you are going to stir it up and energize, you are disturbing your disenchantment, you are disturbing your dispassion. So not all the time you have to stir it and give the energy, but you have to check whether it's a sloth and torpor or hiding of the mind. Hiding of the mind is kind of a thing invariably you have to expect in the progress of meditation.
Thank you, Bhante.
Venerable Sir, I just want to pay my respects first. I'm very grateful to have participated in accidentally a Vipassana retreat. I didn't actually know that you were a Vipassana teacher. I just heard that you were very excellent, and I'm very grateful to have been part of your retreat. So thank you very much for coming and teaching. I primarily have been a student of Ajahn Brahms, who is a student of Ajahn Chah, who you have quoted, and you have said that Ajahn Chah found no separation between samatha and vipassana. Ajahn Brahm teaches in the same way. He doesn't distinguish between the two. He always says that they have to go together. So often I have found during this retreat a great synchronicity, and many similarities. Sometimes different words are used in different ways, but essentially the meaning and the impact is still leading in the same direction. And actually I have found this very useful to open to a different perspective and different angle, because often you use the same words and you come up against the same blocks because you're perceiving things in the same way. So it's been really wonderful to hear things in a different way and to be open to learning from a different perspective. So I'm very grateful for that, and I have a lot of respect for the way you teach. I'm just curious because recently, or this evening, answering a question, you referred to Samathajjanas as being using will and having a lot of self in them. My experience listening to Ajahn Brahm and my very limited and humble experience with meditation is that, as Ajahn Brahm teaches, actually the process of meditation is more and more letting go of the self and more letting go of our will. Now, as I've said, Ajahn Brahm doesn't distinguish between vipassana and samatha. And if I may say, the author that you quoted earlier who said that we're human, we're not being human beings, we're being human doings, that was Ajahn Brahm. So I'm curious because as I said, we use different words to sometimes mean different things, and I'm really wanting to learn exactly what you meant when you said that we can use will and there can be self, because this is not what Ajahn Brahm teaches. He teaches how to reduce the self, how to reduce the will, and that's what the jhanas are as he teaches them. And he doesn't call them samatha jhanas. He doesn't separate between vipassana and samatha. I'd be very, very grateful if you would answer my question.
So
Thank
when
you.
as far as you are exposed to two ideas, one thing is the jhanic experience itself is doing away with the self and the ill will and kind of thing. Other thing is, according to my explanation, whenever you are working with the jhana, will is working. So when if you can do both and see which one is reducing your tension, which one is reducing your frustration, is your way. Leave both the teachers as they are. So you do both, no harm. And see which one is leading to more, less and less frustration and tension. That is your path. It is not our duty to judge the teachers, and we have to find the least frictional path and say tata, bye-bye. Rather than making a decision judging. So that is what it happens present day. So wastage of time. The best way to understand whether you are progressing or not, your tension is reducing. Your frustration is reducing. I call you are coming to the comfort zone. Least frictional path. Just see, it may be very subtle, but it is something you can verify yourself.
Thank you very much. That was the advice that Buddha gave to Venerable Maha Pajapati Gotami, I believe. Is that the similar thing?
But both the methods are not making any damage.
Okay.
Do it and see which one is least frictional.
Thank you so much.
Ante, my question now seems a bit outdated because it was related to another previous questions. It's to do with the posture, doing Anapana. I often, no sooner I start Anapana, I feel I lean forward. And then I remember Buddha said, Uju Kaya, you have to be straight. And I think doing that I disturb my meditation, and I think it has hindered somewhat my practice.
Sometimes if you have observed like this, what you have to do is, when they were leaning, make a determination not to adjust yourself. But even then, the due to habituation, it can happen.
Yes.
But you have to just keep it like that and still see how is the meditation, how is the breath while your body is straight, how is the meditation, how is the anapanasati when it's lean. And sometimes you may find a very comfortable angle, not a very straightforward, not very bent down. There only you can find the proper tilt.
Yes.
So therefore maybe now you are in extremes, either to very straight or very bent down. But there may be a comfort area,
Yeah,
comfortable
zone.
area.
Yeah.
You have to find you according to your body configuration.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a flow-on question, Bhante, from what Sumedha asked. I just want to find out, one is needing clarification, other one is a statement. Now, you mentioned, which we have heard previously as well, that when you are brushing, pay full attention to brushing. So that is your primary object. When you are meditating, anapanasati, that is your full attention. So isn't that a conflict of what Sumedha is saying, that he is at a meeting, but there are conflicting interests between two primary objects, meeting, listening, and then the anapanasati. Shouldn't he decide on what is his priority?
As far as he is going to a meeting, it's utter mistake right from the beginning.
That's true. That I agree fully.
Then you have another chance. While in the meeting, at least have one breath just to make it meaningful, rather than try to be bloody fool with the people around. So when I go to my first interview in the MSc, I told you, so I was never prepared, because I was working 4 years before the Viva exam. So when I go there, people were sitting, and 3 or 4 of them I know, and they ask, first I've gone there, I thought, I leave the file and took 3 breaths. Then I feel like at meditation center. And then the one person asks, okay, what is your name? And also, good morning, yes. And then asks if you have to happen to make a survey about the usage of soya bean, what kind of a social survey technique you propose. Then I told, if it is so, I have to go to the retail center and get the chart and then do the statistical analysis, representative little sample and collect it. And then another person came meanwhile into the board. And he told, you are talking about the usage of the soya beans and you are not interested in introduction of soya beans. Then I told, the board has to decide, he is disturbing me. Question is different. I am the person going to get distracted. So board decide whether to answer his question or your question. So board was looking face to face each other. No, you go with your own one. You see, I am the person going to suffer. He was the person late and he's coming and asking unwanted question. I never tell like that. So after that I giving a fair answer. It's utterly I am battling with the common sense, not anything. And then I told, please, if you have a question, please ask. I am asking question from the board now. And they put the trouble into me and they told, you have done research before the theory understand. Yes, I told us it is the way it is, the season happens, so I went there. So do you think that to do agricultural research you should have basic understanding? Then I told, my father is a farmer, so I know agriculture. So you mean there's no use of theory understanding? Then I told, when you are reaching in the board, this kind of understanding is known as that theory. This understanding, this theory, that I learned, this terminology, but I know what you are talking. And then I told you, do you think that all the parliamentarians have done political science? And I asked him, doesn't they fare well? They start everyone laughing. And they left me. And then the person came late, chasing came behind me. After a long time, I see a person answered in a relaxed manner. Otherwise, people with the full of knowledge, and they are not shaking the head because the knowledge will fall down. So they are very serious. Nonsense. I am not a very good academic. I am not appreciating academic curriculums like that. But the becoming myself an undergraduate or postgraduate is a miracle. It's a miracle, but I don't care what they are doing. But after when I learning the Buddha, I told I am living. I am not going to live according to their standard and kind of thing. I adjust my knowledge, I adjust myself into this kind of thing rather than don't allow people to make agenda for me. This is the way it is happening. So when you are going to a meeting, if it is interesting, the mind will be alert. Otherwise, if they are talking nonsense, definitely you are drowsy. It is not only your mistake, because many people, so Isaac Newton has been the one parliamentarian, and he has, the Guinness book it says, he never talked. The genius. And one day, it has been named, this statement is from Sir Isaac Newton. He asked the parliamentarian peon, please close the door. Please close the window, that's all. They are not talking. They are practical people. Other people are always talking, full of Guinness, Hansard, useless. So, hate to go to meetings. So, therefore, his basic mistake is going to meetings. If it is so, you are supposed to sleep. If you are forced to go to meeting, supposed to be drowsy.
Venerable Sir, thank you very much for, first of all, giving an excellent example of cause and effect. My question is on Anapanasati, that the tendency is to have very long out-breaths, and then there is a long pause, and then there's a reluctance of breathing in again. Now, the out-breath is also very often perceived as a cleansing of the mind. I can't quite explain it, but it looks like breathing out. I'm breathing out some negative fabric of the mind, and then there's a long pause, and the in-breath is almost like reluctant and almost perceived as a burden.
Some people say that if you are fully tensed, your out-breath is just a sigh. And it is long one. But you are talking the other way around. The out-breath is very slow and in-breath is
short
one.
And I have to remind myself actually to breathe in again.
Yeah, so that indicates our breath style is an indication of our emotional life. So observing that, there are some books and knowledge telling how it is happening. And I read the opening in our nose is a rhombus, in shape. It is not rectangular. Rhombus is slightly shifted. And 4 corners indicate 4 elements. When you are breathing, if you are developing the heat element, the corners related to the fire is touched. And likewise, different corners have the way the breath is touching, according to your internal fire element, earth element, everything happens.
But they can also light up.
Yeah.
They can have a color.
Yeah, that depends. That means your physical activity of breathing is connected with your emotional body. And when the Buddha is sleeping, always right angle, facing to the north, and when he is sleeping like that, his right nostril is blocked.
It's blocked.
And the left is open, and it is usually connected to the moon. When you are sleeping other way around, if you are leaning into the other side, left will be blocked and the right will be open, it is connected to the sun. I mean, this is kind of a Indian knowledge. So each and every breath is a character certificate. So when you are observing, you may see morning breathing, midday breathing, evening breathing, and when you are in a different moods, they have patterns.
And you see the connectedness to everything with the breath.
Some people give interpretations like
that.
But breath is never in a unique pattern, nor in the uniform pattern. It's also changing. Changing according to the change of the moon, change of your mood. So some variables have been recognized, but Buddha never gave that kind of attention to that. But one example is whenever he is sleeping to the right-hand side, facing the north, putting the head to the north side and facing the eastern side. And interpretation given in the commentary is he always connected with the moon. And if you have a heart patient, this is the best way, because then the heart is on the upper side, it is not pressed. If you are sleeping on the other side, heart is being pressed. So some heart patients, heart doctors also appreciate it. So likewise, there are some connection, but I have a very vague understanding on that.
Thank you very much, Venerable. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Okay, now we have to go for the next session, and better to stop it. And next session is to have a line connection all over the world. Any person have any question can come into that. We have 3 sessions. One thing is for the interviews for the elderly non-meditators. Sometimes we have that kind of a session for mindful school teachers. Sometimes we have such a session for mindful children. So today's session will be for the elders, basically for the USA and UK. And what I am telling is, if someone can appoint from the Perth, he or she can let you know whenever the mindful school facilitator meetings are there, whenever the mindful children sessions are there, whenever you have chances for elders to ask questions. All the other areas they have appointed the agent, but still we are waiting for the Perth as a state. But today we are going to have this live program and as the hosting. The Perth is the host. So in few minutes time we will start the line program. It's a very clear telephone line, free of charge, and you can record it. And we have now already recorded sessions. So this is the end of our question and answer session. Thank you very much for your participation.